Hey guys, we are going to make another fabric sculpture wall hanging thing. We're going to make a ladybug, which I'm nicknaming a love bug. A couple different reasons. The main one being that it's cute, but also I found some fabric for all or part of the wings. So anyway, this is the initial drawing I did up. Whether it ends up looking anything like this or not, I don't know. But this is the inspiration drawing I ended up creating, and underneath you are some screenshots of ladybugs, ladybug images from Google. So the first thing I did was took a couple pieces of cardboard, in this case some mailing boxes, glued them together because I didn't have one big piece. And I traced like a basic shape on here that I'm going to cut out now. And we're going to work on creating the skeleton and then let that dry overnight. We'll be back tomorrow. So let me do this. I'll be right back. Okay, that always takes a little bit of effort, but we got it cut out. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is figure out how I want to hang it. So with the bee, I knew I wanted to hang him sort of sideways. On the back needed to be over here. With the ladybug, I think I want to hang it straight up. So we're going to cut a slit or poke some holes up here to add a hanger. Which reminds me, I need my pokey tool. Okay. So I'm going to stab into somewhere in the back of the head. A couple of holes. Okay, so can you see that? Yeah. I have a couple of different kinds of wire, including this one. I hate this wire. It's really hard to bend and get to stay, but I kind of want to use it up because I do have it. So we're going to see if we can make it work. I don't know where this came from. Probably Michael's. Like a million years ago, I think. I don't know. Okay, so we're going to try to bend it. Okay. And then try to twist it. This is where a piece of it usually flies off and smacks me in the face. So when you're working with wire and trimmers and box cutters, do it with all caution. Don't necessarily do it like I did. Like right there, I almost poked myself in the face. Don't do that. Okay, well, I'm gonna just sort of form it into something like that. And then it really is a pain to work with. Okay, let's cut some of the excess off. Okay, try to push that through. I want it to be kind of like that. too big, you've got to fiddle with it, change it up a couple times. Okay. And then do that. They already came unwound. They weren't wrapped very tightly to begin with, but we do have 2 pieces, but we're going to try to keep them that way. This is why I don't really use this wire for this. For anything except this. I'm going to use the other wire for the rest of this. Okay, so I'm going to hold it in the position that I want, which is like that. And then I'm going to put down some glue. Oh, it's right in front of me. This is some E6000 glue. And then I also have bookbinding tape because it's really, really super sticky and you can just tear it. So, all right, let's get that back to where it's supposed to be. Okay. Put some glue back here. And then tape. Now this is the underside. This is the skeleton. If it's not pretty, it doesn't matter. It just needs to hold. Doesn't have to be pretty. Okay, and the whole thing's not going to be very heavy, so you don't need to worry about it holding weight. All right, now close that up a little bit. I'm going to use the other wire because this one really does like make me crazy. It's possible I just get rid of it too. All right, I have this other wire, which is from Doris, from Michael's 20 gauge gold wire. Doesn't matter what color you have. It is, use what you have. Okay, first we're going to make the antenna. And we need 3 pairs of legs. So I'm just randomly like uncoiling some wire. Slightly shorter piece for the antenna, longer pieces for the legs. And then a piece for the center spine, which we'll just use the rest because I've had this a long time. Okay, so we're going to take our spine first and pull it straight. This wire is much easier to work with. Okay, set that up there. I'm going to take some of our legs, bring the 2 cut edges towards the middle, and that's just only so that when we wrap things in fabric, you don't have a cut pokey end that might stick out at some point. And I'm going to wrap the 2 cut ends sort of around each other. Like that. And then we are going to sort of eyeball the middle and wrap the spine around it. There we go. And we'll keep doing that for all 3 pairs of legs until we get it done. I'll be right back. For the antenna, I'm going to take what's going to be the top of the spine and thread it through. And kind of eyeball centering it, and then wrap it sort of around each other just so it kind of stays. And we have something that, yeah, looks like that. We're going to lay it on top of our piece of cardboard and position everything down the center and sticking out the sides. Yeah, that works. Okay, just like with the hanger on the back, I'm going to put some E6000 down, especially on the joins where all the wire is joined together. And when I smash it down with the tape, it's gonna stick to the cardboard. Okay. Then we will start with the tape. We'll do some little pieces. Okay, and we'll do a bigger piece. Then I will adjust the legs a bit, the length of them. And put some more glue and tape. Because when you're doing this part, you can't have enough glue and tape. It's just not a thing. This is just the underskeleton part. This is got a long way before it's done. And I will also, this is not my original idea. I will link the creator below who, she makes a lot of beetles. And I watched her video and she inspired me to do the bumblebee. That's how this whole thing started. I've made 2 flower lights, a bumblebee, and now a love bug. Very clever young lady, really clever idea. And yes, I can call her a young lady because she is younger than I am. I just stuck my fingers in the glue. Of course I did. Okay, the other thing I'm going to do is take my mallet and smash some of the wire flat. mallet time. Okay. So now we have that. Bottom legs are a little long, but that's okay. I think what I want to do is shorten them by folding the wire up like this and taping it down. Just a little bit. Yeah, I like that. That's good. So make some adjustments so everything sort of looks even. And of course, yeah, you guessed it. More tape. I was very into bookbinding for a while, so I've got a lot of tape. But the good thing is, I like the tape. Okay. Okay, nothing else to do with this now, except let it dry. That's it. I'm going to put some glue around this part of the hanger because extra glue is not a bad thing. And then just sit it down and let the glue work its magic until tomorrow. Let it dry overnight since it's late in the afternoon already. Okay, that's it. I'll be back. Hey guys. All right. Back to working on our ladybug or love bug. Everything's dry. Seems pretty secure. I always like do this to check the hanger. Make sure it's not gonna like come out. No. Okay. Next thing we're gonna do, wrap all the legs and antenna in some cotton batting. So I'm gonna cut some strips from this scrap piece that I have. I'm gonna cut some of it into a bunch of strips. And use the scraps and things to wrap around the wire, and I'm gonna hot glue them down to hold them while we're stitching and gluing the rest of the ladybug together. So I'm just gonna cut strips like that. I'll be back. Okay guys, we've got all the legs and antenna wrapped. Now it's time to bubble out the body. So I'm laying the skeleton down on some thick interfacing. This is the really thick stuff that's like fabric cardboard. And I'm going to put a few marks around the head. And then obviously, if I just cut that out, it's going to be flat. So I'm going to go, I don't know, that's like 2.5 inches out on each side, about 1 inch out on the top, and a little bit more on the bottom. I'll pick this up and show you in a minute. And I'm just using Sharpie because none of this is going to show. So these are where the original head is, and this is the extension I cut. And to be safe, I can always make it smaller. Can't make it bigger. So we're gonna even go outside that. And then to be able to make it round, we need to put some darts in. So I'll cut some darts and clip it together, see if I like it. Put it up against our skeleton. The shape isn't bad, but I think that's way too tall. So it's better. I'm going to actually take this. This is the neck. This is the outside of the head. And I want to do that. So that it curves down more. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna sew these darts on the sewing machine and I'll be right back. Okay, I cut little slits all the way around. And now the idea is, before we start doing any gluing, let's make sure that's, yeah. So we're gonna turn it upside down and I'm gonna glue each one of these little flaps that I've just made now to the cardboard. Put some glue, hold it down, let it dry, repeat. I'll also say this part can be messy. None of it's going to show. It just needs to help you give your bug some structure. And well, again, watch the other video. She does it a completely different way than this. So, all right, I'll be back. Okay, and that's what the head looks like. So we're going to repeat that same process and do something for the body. I do want it to puff up from the neck a bit, so we'll be creating some extra volume around the neck with probably darts. And then gluing everything down. And then to smooth it out before we start with the fabric, covering it with more of the cotton batting. All right, let's get to it, shall we? All right, I think that looks pretty good. So now we have to glue it down, kind of like how we did the other one. All right, I'll get that done, I'll be back. Okay, now we're hopefully gonna smooth out some rough edges, although it's taking shape, by layering some more cotton batting. over the top. I'm just going to eyeball it. Okay. And I need my other scissors. Okay. So I'm going to just eyeball it and wrap it around and glue it down. We're almost there. I'll be back. Okay, so this is how far we've gotten today. Once I got the polyfill, holy cow, cotton batting covering the body, I wrap the legs and antenna with a combination of fabric and trims, and then finally some black like Halloween netting, this stuff, which I use a lot in this kind of thing. It's a little bit fiddly and takes a little bit, and of course I have a couple of hot glue gun burns, but it's done now, and I've used up nearly all the black trim I have in the art room, and so the next time I need black trim for something, I'm gonna have to go buy some because I don't have much left. Anyway, we're gonna let this sit for the night, and tomorrow we will come back and we will start working on the body and the wings. And I have to decide, I'm gonna do, ladybugs I guess really have their hard shell wings, but underneath they have actually wings they can fly with. Am I gonna put both kinds on here? I don't know yet, but we'll see. That's tomorrow's problem. I'll be back. Yeah, I kind of lied. It's still Thursday night. Hubby is off to his Masonic Lodge meeting, and I kind of want to get our little beetle friend here to the point where tomorrow we can work on wings and decorating him, which means covering his body with black. And I don't have a lot of black fabric left. This is like all I have, and then this square, because I've used it all up. I just placed an order for some more stuff. Anyway, all right, for this part, we're going to break out the needle and thread and scissors, because this is the part where I start doing some sewing. And it's sort of in some ways like doing some kind of crazy upholstery on a wonky chair. That's where my brain goes with it anyway. I cut the piece of fabric slightly bigger than what I need to cover the bug body, and then I just sew it down, tack it down, and make it work. I'm going to fold the raw edge under at the top that'll be by the neck. And we're gonna start there, and I'm gonna stitch this down. I'm gonna like fold these around. I'll be making some cuts to make sure they not only fit around the legs, but that everything is covered, so that tomorrow we can add eyes and wings and some decorations, which is the fun part. This is the boring part. So I'm gonna do this and I'll be right back. Okay, body is done. That's actually not bad. Now we have to do the head. And as I said before, I don't have much fabric left. So we're gonna have to make it work. I could have been a little neater about some of these edges if it had a little bit more fabric, but again, had to make it work, and that's fine. So we are going to work on the head piece. and see if we can get this sewn down and have it covered up, and it'll be some kind of crazy black beetle for the minute. It's not going to stay that way. I know for an actual ladybug, the legs are wonky, but we're not looking for an anatomically correct ladybug. Just in case you didn't know that. I'll be right back. Okay, I know it's looking a little crazy, but we have a beetle. That's a start. Now to turn it into a ladybug beetle. Ladybug beetle? Ladybug beetle? Yeah. Anyway. All right, I'm going to clean up my mess and go have some dinner. I'll see you tomorrow. Well, for me, it's tomorrow. For you, it's like 2 seconds. See you in a minute. Good morning. It is Friday, February 6th. It's 10:26 a.m. Hopefully today we're going to finish this. So the first thing we're going to do is decorate the abdomen of the beetle. I have this piece of black lace here that I think I'm going to sew on for some texture. And on top of that, right in the middle, I'm going to sew a heart out of this gray and red stripe. I don't think in the end it's going to show much, but I want to put it there anyway. So we are going to take this fabric, which is this. I don't remember where I got this from. I've had it a long time. I'm going to find a place. I cut a heart out of some cardstock. And I'm going to trace the heart on the fabric. Oops. With a ballpoint pen. This is not anything that's ever going to be washed, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to cut it out, leaving about a 1/2 inch-ish. Okay, with sharper scissors than that. Let's get the black scissors out. The Gingers. I've had these so long, you guys. Okay, we're going to cut it out. Toss that over there. We are going to cut a slit down here to the middle to this V, to very close to the line. We're going to do little slits all the way around the curved parts. Going to take our template and some washable Elmer's glue. And we're going to put some glue around the edge of the template and then push the fabric up into the glue. I learned how to do this a long time ago from a YouTube video about English paper piecing. And I don't remember what the channel name was. If I can find it, I'll link it below. But if there's nothing down there, you'll know I couldn't find it and I don't remember. So we're going to do that all the way around. That'll help keep the edges down temporarily. Then we're going to press it with the iron. And then sew it down. Does it have to be perfect? No. So then you'll end up with that. I'm going to press it. I'll be right back. Okay, so first I'm going to stitch the lace down. Then I'm going to stitch the heart down, and I think I'm going to just do it by hand because I think that's easiest. Will I add some glue? Maybe. Usually these sculptures are a combination of stitching and glue and hot glue and wire and whatever works. So I'm going to get those attached and I'll be right back. Okay, that's done. That's cute. Now before we start making wings, we're gonna do some work on the head. I debated over this for a while. Now the drawing I ended up making of the ladybug was this one. And you'll see that generally if you look at pictures of ladybugs, there's some kind of white dots on their head. I do want to also add some big giant eyeballs. I'm not going to add the washers on the back because we've sealed it up and we don't need to. I'll be gluing them on. But and I was going to use white cotton, and then I realized I have all these like fabric samples. And we could do something with these, which would be interesting. So I think that's what we're going to do. I have a tendency to save little fabric scraps like this, samples. And there's a couple of fabric websites that you can order for very inexpensively. You can order like samples of some of their fabrics and just get like a little square like this. Mood Fabrics is one of them. So I think I'm going to use these two, and I'm going to cut out a couple of shapes. Just like that. And then there's another one that's similar. They don't have to be the same. And then I kind of want to add a couple of circles. Oops. So, okay, those scissors need to be sharpened. Okay, so there's one circle. Here's another one. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so we'll get those stitched on and poke some holes to glue our eyeballs in. Because, yeah, we're going to use a combination of E6000 and hot glue to hold it in there while the E6000 dries. All right, I'll be right back.
Okay, it doesn't even like shot by fiber, and it has that. Collections. I'm trying to find this yarn for you. Oh, I think I found it. All right, so this is the Bee Dreamy, okay, from Hirschner's that's no longer available. It says it's 525 yards. It's a blissfully 3-weight light yarn. I will link this below. You can buy it by the skein, by 4 skeins, or by 8 skeins. All right, so this says 1 skein is $11.99 on Amazon. Okay, that's not bad. I didn't pay that. Let's see, and if you buy 4 skeins, it's $56.99. Or if you buy 8 skeins, it's $98.99. Okay. It's 100% acrylic. Let's see what Amazon says. 525 yards. I think that I found the exact yarn. It says 100% premium acrylic on Amazon. This says 100% acrylic. Ball size 150 grams, 150 grams. ball size, 525 yards, 525 yards.
Okay, next thing we're gonna do is figure out where I want the eyeballs. And I think I want them right there. You can't see that. So I think I want them right there and there. Poke a, we're gonna use my awl or pokey tool, as I've been calling it for a long time. I'm gonna poke a hole into our beetle. And then probably shove some scissors in there to make the hole bigger. Let's see. I need smaller scissors. There we go. Okay, FYI, I get asked about these scissors occasionally. These are not crafting scissors or fabric scissors. These are medical scissors. And they're the best like needlework scissors I've ever found. I have a couple pairs. Yeah. And not super, well, when I bought them, they weren't super expensive. I don't know about these days. Okay, so we're going to end up putting one there. Let's see. Make sure the eyeball fits in. Yep, there we go. I can feel that fitting in. And then we're going to glue it down. So I'm going to do both of them and I'll be right back. Okay, now we're going to work on the wings. First, we're going to do the under wing. I don't know what else to call it. Again, not an entomologist. Although I did study entomology in high school, but that was a really long time ago. Where'd you go? Well, geez. All right, so I have the gold wire that we used underneath, which is a little bit thicker gauge. Oh, I guess it's not. These are both, say, 20 gauge. Okay, I think for the lacy wings, we're going to use the silver just because I think the gold like doesn't really go with what we're going to do at all. So we're going to make, we're going to put wire in all the wings, but in the lacy wings, since the wire is going to show, we're going to use the silver. And I'm going to straighten it out and try to figure out how big of a piece I want. And then cut 2. Okay. 2 long pieces of wire. Try not to poke myself in the face. Yes, I've done that before. Okay, then we're going to try to straighten it out. Okay. Move our beetle to the side. Shape these up into lacy wings. Figure out how I want to attach them. So I think we want to just curl the 2 ends together about like that, I think. And then I'm going to create some loops. And the loops will be what I sew them down with. So the end of the wire looks like that. Okay, I'm going to do that a second time, and then we'll get out the fabric that I think I'm going to use for these. Black spider web lace. This is what I think we're going to use for the underwing. We're going to try to find a couple of spots with little to no spiders, because there are spiders on here. That'll work. And I'm going to just cut out a roughly shaped piece, kind of large, because I'll take you to the sewing machine. I'll show you how we're going to do this. This is the same way I did the bee wings. Okay, I need one more piece. Okay, let's head to the sewing machine. Try hard not to, excuse me, hit the wire, because you'll probably break a needle if you do. I'm going to take these. I think they're called applique scissors. Not positive on that. I don't remember, but anyway. And I'm going to use them to trim off the excess. They are made for lifting up the upper piece of fabric from the lower, so that you are less likely to cut holes in it. I can still manage to cut a hole, but we're going to just go slow and trim it so that we have an edge like that. Okay, here's our lace underwings. I don't know what to call them. Done. Now, I didn't sew this back of the head to the body when I attached all the black fabric, because I want to sew these down and then be able to slide the ends underneath here and then pull it over to cover it up. But first, I want to make the red wings. Yeah. All right. Now, maybe I should stitch these down first and then make the red wings. That's probably a smart idea. All right, let's get them stitched. But we won't cover them up. We'll just stitch them down here to the batting and the interfacing that's underneath. Why do I always record without the button being on? Anyway, I drew out this sort of half heart shape on the batting. And I've got 2 layers of batting here. I've got 2 layers of a solid red. It's darker than this one, I know, but that's fine. And then our love fabric. And I want the love to be this way so it's readable. And these are going to be our wings. So I'm going to cut this out, and we're going to sew these teardrop shapes right sides together, and then turn them out, press them, stitch some wire in, and then put our spots on. All right, I'll be back. Okay, you guys. So that part's done. Ah, so cute. Yep, I love it. All right. Now we're going to put some heart appliques on the 2 wings, outer wings. Okay, I've laid out what I want to do for the spots on the outer wings for our love bug. And I'm going to go to the machine now and go stitch all these on. I'll be right back. I was going to stand here and decide if I wanted to add anything else, but I don't think I do. I think I just need to attach the wings at the top. But I'm also going to tack them to 1 or 2 of the legs, because I want them to stay partly open and show the lace wings underneath and the heart underneath. How cute is that? All right, let's get it done. We're just about done, and I'll show you the front side in a second. I do have to, the last final step on these is to cover the back with felt now. I guess I've done a lot of things with black lately because I'm nearly completely out of, other than a few scraps. Black felt, oops, black felt, black fabric, black trim. I have very little left. So I'm going to have to peruse estate sales and things and stock up. Anyway, I'm going to use hot glue to attach this all the way around the edges and do some trimming to make sure it's not too big, but that it's big enough to cover, which I've been kind of trying to do. That's better. Okay, we're going to get the big piece on first. I should say big pieces on first. This one in particular. So I'm just going to make sure that I glue all the way around. And in the middle. And then get this placed. And basically that covers up your mess. If you're like me and you're not the neatest creator in the planet, it covers up the mess. Okay, then we're going to get this piece on. And then before we do anything else, we're going to do some trimming where it seems to be hanging over too much. Because this is to cover up the mess on the back. This is not what we want showing from the front. Again, go watch the video. She does hers completely different than I do. And as I'm doing that, I'm going to go around and tack down some edges. I'll be right back. Little pieces I want to attach to reinforce some of the legs and stuff on the back and cover up messes that those other pieces don't touch. Because, you know, again, I don't have a big enough piece of felt. Okay, oh my God, you guys, it's so cute. as with all of these like fabric sculptures that I'm making, I always am like halfway through with it going, is that gonna like, what the heck am I making? But oh, they always turn out so cute. So we've got everything all done, and it doesn't weigh too much, so I can hang it on the wall. I just have to figure out where, because my walls up here are getting a little full. So there's that. I don't, oh yeah, I have no idea. But first I need to clean up the mess I made, then we'll see if we can get it hung up, and I'll be back. Hey you guys, there she is. She's even bigger than the bumblebee, at least in girth. I think she's about the same height. Anyway, I love it.